Hi, this is Karen Lambert with Loving Rochester, and today I'm going to introduce you to Connie Wake and Susan Fiandach, the proprietors of the Purple Door in Henrietta, New York at Win-Jef Plaza. Hi, Connie. Hi, Sue. How are you?
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Very
Good. How are you?
Good. Hi. Today we're here with Connie Wake and Sue Fiandach, and they're the owners of the Purple Door. Tell me, what is the Purple Door?
It's a combination of things. It's a New Age shop. New Age being it's got things like candles and smudge and incense and those kinds of things. We also have gift items, so it's a gift shop.
Okay.
It's also a learning center. We teach classes here. It's also a place where we offer psychic medium services and Reiki energy healing. So it's a combination place.
Nice.
It's a little of everything.
Okay. And you say you give classes. What kind of classes do you offer?
Mostly, we have a very good program of psychic medium studies that Sue directs, heads up. And, but we also delve into other things that really help to make one aware of themselves. So it's for empowerment, healing, intention. So we talk about creating your reality and those kinds of things. So it's really about the expression of your best self.
Right. Awareness, consciousness, just being aware of who we are, where we are.
Okay. You mentioned spirit. I guess if we could get into what is spirit, and is spirit the same as spirituality?
Ah,
That's a good question.
that's a real good one. I like that. That we talk about spirit, and that's a word that we use all the time in our
Right.
language. We use it as, oh, look at her, she's got so much spirit,
Yes.
right? Meaning energy. A cheerleader, I've got spirit, yes I
Yes.
do, right?
I've got spirit.
How about you? That's the whole spirit thing. But we really talk about it as energy. When we use the word spirit, we would generally be, as psychic mediums, we would generally be saying that the spirit of someone that has passed would be present.
Okay.
So we use it as spirit in they're no longer living.
Okay.
And then the overarching word for spirit is universe.
Right.
So sometimes we just refer to all that is
Right.
as spirit.
In religion, they would say Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Right. So many different words, so many different meanings for one word, but really it all boils down to energy. So you asked what's the difference between spirit and
Yes.
spirituality. So I would say that spirit is energy. Spirit is present. Your spirit, your energy is present. The spirit of those that have passed around you, their energy is present. Spirituality would be the understanding, self-awareness of a higher power or something greater than self, or something that we can look at that holds us and keeps us safe, feeling good, feeling not alone.
Okay. Nice.
That would be spirituality, I would say.
And if I was to come in for a reading, I've never been here, let's say. I have, but let's say I haven't. And I'm scared.
Okay.
Very common. Fear is a common thing. What really causes that is Hollywood.
Yes.
Hollywood causes that with movies, with shows. Your culture, your family's culture, your religious beliefs,
Yeah.
that will cause fear, because people believe that if they don't know better, they're going to believe that we're going to tell them terrible things.
Yes.
Right.
That we're going to tell them when they're going to die.
Right.
That we're going to express that their loved one who perhaps took their own life is stuck.
Right.
That they haven't moved on. So the fear of what they think they know is what stops people. The reality is a reading is an expression of, is an interpretation of information that we receive from you. Should always be left, leaving the person, the sitter, the querent, feeling better than when they came in. So the fact of the matter is, we're not going to tell you when you're going to die. We're not going to tell you when your loved ones are going to die. That information, we may receive information that looks like that,
Right.
but we have to understand that it may be interpreted differently. So to me, to us here at the Purple Door, that is something we absolutely will not do, is tell people when they're going to die.
That's good.
Right. So the fears, we would try to let you understand what was going to happen during a reading to alleviate that.
Okay.
And the first thing people do say is, well, I don't want to hear anything bad.
Yeah.
But the universe is empowering, it's loving, it's for our best selves in our
Right.
journey.
Right.
So our job is to give you those insights and those kinds of things that help you make the decision for your best self.
Right.
So we don't go into the bad stuff because it's not what our job
Right.
is.
Right.
And people will also ask, well, what if you get bad stuff? Are you doing me a disservice by not telling me? So the answer to that would be, no, we're not doing you a disservice. The problem is when we get half information.
Right.
So to me, that's unfinished business. I'm not going to give you unfinished information because what's going to happen?
Well, something could change.
Something's going to change,
Right.
but your mind is going
Oh, it's
to...
going to be fixated on what you
Yes.
told me. And
Now it's going to be, oh,
I'm
is
going to
that
make it
Is that-
happen
That's right.
because
Exactly.
I create my own reality.
That's exactly right.
Right.
So we're always going to leave you with your own free will.
Okay. And how did, I guess, the experiences, your abilities, I don't know if you want to say abilities, but how did it begin, if you don't mind sharing that?
Sure.
We actually, when we do our presentations and everything, we really highlight that we come from two different points of view.
Yes.
May I start?
Yes, please do. It's the norm.
I'm the left brain medium, we call it,
Okay.
because I just walked into something at a point in my life where I wanted to find out how things happened. I saw Edgar Casey on PBS.
Yeah.
He was a trance medium, and it wasn't like, well, that was really crazy. I go, how did he do that? I wanted to know how he did it. So I walked into wanting to know more, and I found groups and teachers that taught me what it was. And I always found the process of accessing information, whether through journaling or those kinds of things. So very much analytical, but taught,
So yours was
self-taught to
later in
express.
life, not
It
so
was.
much when you were younger?
It was, yes, thanks.
Okay.
It was basically when my life was changing in my late 40s, early
Yeah.
50s, and that's when I walked into it and
Okay.
been going ever since.
Mine's different. When I was a little girl, I had my nighttime friends. I would wake up in the middle of the night, I would grab my little dolly, and I would go out into the living room. Lived in a very small ranch home with my mother and my brothers. My mother, my father, and my brothers. So I would go out into the living room in the middle of the night, and I would sit in my rocking chair, and I would have these full-out conversations.
Awesome.
To which my parents would wake up. Oh, Susie, you're sleepwalking. Come with us. I'm not sleepwalking, I would say. And then I would relay to them what I was told. And of course, I would hear them in the next room. How did she know that? Those people passed. She never knew them, that kind of
Right.
thing. So what happened to me was I always say I had an idyllic childhood. I had a beautiful childhood. I had beautiful people around me. But what happened, my parents trying to protect me from what they didn't understand, caused fear, because the people that I loved, the people that I revered, didn't experience what I experienced. So that was wrong.
Yes.
That was wrong. And I was also raised very Catholic, so that was
double
that
whammy.
was wrong. That I think they wanted to bathe me in holy
Right,
water. I always
yes.
say, put me in the font, right? But that was just something, is how it was. So I blocked that for many, many years. Fast forward 2001, I become very ill, and I have a death or near-death experience, and very profound, as most people that have had that experience
Yeah.
would say. It is a profound experience. But to cut to the chase, what happened after that was it all came flooding back to me. It took me a little while. It took me a little while to realize what's different here? Why is this back? And I suddenly realized the fear was gone.
Right. You opened the door.
Yeah, it's not as though something special happened. It's just, it's not like came back. It's not I came back with something.
Right.
It's what I came
Something
back
you had all
without.
along.
Well, I came back without fear.
Right, right. And so,
And I'm right brain, so I'm the creative talker,
She
the
feels
feeler,
things.
the feeler. I'm not process driven as much So we always say between my sort of right brain and her left brain, we make a whole entire brain.
Whole
There
brain.
you go. So you're saying how your left brain, your right brain, are there different ways that people can perceive spirit?
Yes. We talk about the senses in our classes, and that the brain really uses the senses to translate the information it's picking up, just like the physical senses, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, feeling. The brain still picks up information, and it uses the senses. So people sometimes see things, sometimes they hear things. They'll feel it in their bodies as emotion, and that's very common these days. It's called being an empath, empathic. They might taste things and smell things, which is also very common.
Right.
So as different as the senses are, that's how people pick up information.
Yeah. So everybody's heard of ESP, extrasensory perception. So it's a perception of each sense. So it's an extra perception of every sense. So you're just going to get it, and then your brain, you're going to feel it. So an example would be you meet somebody, you go to shake their hand, or and you suddenly feel either like you've known them forever, you feel warm to them, or you feel that you need to back away.
Yes.
Everyone has experienced that.
Yes.
That's a sense. That's not something you know. It's not something you
Right.
see. It's something you feel.
Yes.
The feeling translates into the brain, creates a thought.
How do we tap into somebody who has no experience and they're curious? They want to know.
Very common. People come to the classes for all reasons.
Yes.
And we always ask, why are you here? And there's always a group of people that are just plain old curious. We do not call what this is a gift. You know, many people will say you have the gift.
Right.
No, I think we all have gifts, but this is an ability, and we call it a joyous ability. Everyone has this ability. Due again to cultural, family culture, social, religious, we take it away, we block it.
Right.
So we're saying to people, you can bring it back. You can allow yourself to feel all of those senses. What we're not saying is that it's for a select few. As with any ability, you're going to have people that are more naturally inclined,
Right.
or
Like
if
an
you want to
athlete.
say better at it,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And people that struggle a little bit more, but everybody can learn it. If not to do a reading for another, you learn self-awareness.
Right. And it's really the sixth sense.
Yeah.
So you just engage this other sense, this other perspective of awareness in your day-to-day. So you're not hanging a shingle at a fair that you're a psychic reader, but you are engaging information at another level in
Right.
your day-to-day. So anybody could do that.
What do you think Spirit wants us to know? Is there a single kind of message that maybe they want us to know?
We can talk to Spirit. Spirit can talk to us, but they really want us
Right.
to talk to them. They're here all the time, and they want us to talk to them as though so that we understand that they're here all the time. And
I was going to ask you. Do you see Spirit all the time?
No.
No. Okay.
Nope, not all the time. Because we've worked very hard at sort of knowing when we're, to coin a phrase, open and when we're closed.
Yeah.
So, it's very much a feeling of, you don't walk around with your cell phone open and engaged at all times.
No.
You have to dial in. You have to say, okay, I'm ready. Make that call.
Okay.
So that's what we've done. We've trained our minds,
Okay.
our bodies. Doesn't mean information is not going to sneak in.
I was going to say, sometimes
It's
it
going-
just pops in,
it's-
whether
yeah.
you're
It's
open
going
or
to
not.
seep. Oh yeah, you might go somewhere and all of a sudden there's something, but it's a matter of managing
Okay.
that.
And depending on what you want to do, in paranormal investigations, you're looking for those kinds of
Right.
things. In a healing, you're experiencing energies through the healing, the chakras, as we
Yep.
call them, and those kinds of things. A psychic medium is tuning in for information regarding the other person. Or on the day-to-day level, you're just interacting with your environment, so you see things coming, or you just understand things.
Okay.
And you see coincidences happen. We call that synchronicity.
Yes.
That's fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
Love that.
So what's like the most compelling thing Spirit has done, or the craziest story you could give?
Ooh,
I like the feather story.
the feather story. someone asked where they would find signs from their loved ones, and kept seeing birds flying by, kept seeing these birds and hearing birds. And long story short, I said, look for the feathers, just look for them. It's not something I tell people to do often. This is not normal. And we escorted the person out of the door, opened the door, and there was a feather this big right outside the door of the store.
Oh, how funny.
So,
What about butterflies? I've heard butterflies
Yeah.
can be spirit too, like the little white ones.
yeah, anything can be.
Anything.
Anything.
Again, it's our interaction with our loved ones and in their realm, and the orchestration. When you talk about a compelling thing, the orchestration of the universe, of spirit, with our loved ones in our everyday life, that is the most awesome thing to experience and see. And then when you have your own synchronicities, it's a wow moment, it's an aha moment,
Right.
those kinds of things.
The butterflies are traditionally thought of as a transformation, because they go from the cocoon or the chrysalis and then they become the butterfly. So oftentimes, even in hospice facilities,
Yes.
when someone is transitioning, they will place a butterfly on the door so that people know that they're in the process of
Yes.
transition. But I do have a great story I'd like to
Okay,
share
yeah, please.
regarding synchronicity. So my grandfather was an amazing man, just a beautiful, beautiful person, passed away several years ago. So one day I'm driving in my car. It's the last week of March. It's very cold. It's snowy. It's blowing. I pull up to the intersection that I pull up every day to go to work. My car is closed up, of course, and all of a sudden I smell cigar smoke. Known for my grandfather, cigar smoke. And I'm like, oh, that's weird, and it was strong.
Yes.
So I got my attention. Who knows what I was doing, fixing my makeup or something, right? So I'm waiting for the light. And all of a sudden I look up, in the car in front of me, the license plate said Al, 1985. My grandfather's name was Al. He
gosh.
passed away in 1985.
Wow.
And then when I got to work and I wrote out my first ticket for the day, it was his birthday.
Oh. Very
Synchronicity.
Yes.
Now, was that my
Oh.
grandfather driving that car? No. But the synchronicities,
Yes.
to me, that was just a very, very telling moment of thank you. Thank you.
Nice, nice. Yes, I've experienced that too, where I've smelled cigarette smoke or
Yes.
something, and I'm like, there is nobody here.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, that's a common one for people.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, and it's so strong. You know,
Yes.
it's like, okay. In 2015, you came out with a book, and now you've got two. Can you tell me a little bit about your books?
Yes, so the first book is called Everyday Conversations, The Key to the Contemporary Medium, Unlocking the Myths. We called it Everyday Conversations because we are lucky enough to work together every day, and we would have conversations every day regarding psychic medium stuff.
Right.
And
Right.
as we were both learning it and honing that ability, we just kept asking those questions. How does this work? What did that mean to you? Those kinds of things. And we realized it really was something that we were talking about every day, and the reading was a conversation.
And each reading we found was sort of breaking down myths for ourselves,
Right. Yeah.
or things that we thought we knew.
I've read the book, and it's a great book for someone who has
Thank you.
no idea
Thank you.
about it, you know, and has heard maybe something negative. It'll enlighten them, I
Yes.
think. So
Thank
it's
you.
definitely worth looking at and reading. And
It's an easy read, and I think
Yeah.
people say they feel our humor in it. They,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
they feel as though they're just really having a conversation with us.
Yeah.
So that's the key. But through that, that's our text. So through that, we then came up with our workbook.
nice.
So our workbook, Everyday Conversations, the student guide to the daily medium, unlocking your own sixth sense. So basically, that book is the class that we've been teaching for 10 years in workbook form.
Right.
So people can take that. They can do all the exercises in it. They can do it by themselves. They can do it with another person. They can do it with a group of people. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But it's the class, but they take it in their own time.
Nice. Good.
So it's a methodology. Connie calls it a step-in process.
Yes, because it helps you identify yourself, and then the connection, and then putting it together, understanding the information. So you walk right into it. And the best thing to do is just take everything that you think you know and put it aside.
Right.
And then try this understanding.
Yes.
And see where you end up.
Yeah.
Are there any governing bodies that watch over you to make sure, or any of the readers out there that they're giving quality readings, or how does it work?
No, there are not, unfortunately.
No, there aren't. And what we say in New York State is for entertainment purposes only, and that's really just to make sure everybody knows that you have free will and choice. Whatever happens beyond the reading is your choice and consequences or accountability. Mediums do not tell. It's guidance, not instruction, and we want to maintain a person's free will and choice.
It's imperative. And because readings are subjective to interpretation,
Right.
It should never be given as this is an absolute. This is an opportunity, this is potential.
Right.
But your free will and choice can always take that and go with it. So, no, there is not a governing body. The only governing bodies there would be within a religious establishment. So spiritualists.
Okay.
Spiritualists would have their own governing body. But outside of religion, no, there is not.
Is there a way to know if a psychic medium is a quality psychic medium? Are there certifications or anything like that?
We do provide a certification program. We have a certification program that allows people to become their highest form of psychic medium. There's ethics involved, there's morals involved, there's a lot of work involved. Classes, they have to have affidavits, which means people that they have read for have to sign, and they have to create a pretty good score
Okay.
with it. It takes at least a year, depending on the psychic. They have to, that's through us, that's through the Purple Door, but they have to maintain that. They have to prove that they're
Are
maintaining.
there like continuing education classes
Yes.
or something that they have to
Yes.
get to keep
And-
certification for you?
Yes.
And we do offer classes that kind of offer some principles and guiding understandings, so that we know the perspective from what the reader's going to talk about, and so that they don't go awry.
Yeah, do
Awry
any
meaning-
damage.
And
Right.
do damage. A lot of readers will bring in their religion or spirituality, and that really taints or
Right.
paints
Yes.
information, not for the client, but from the reader.
Right.
We want to just keep it spirit. So
Their own junk.
their own junk.
Their own
Right.
junk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your junk.
Keep your
Well,
junk.
yes. If you're a medium that's had a terrible thing happen with a husband, let's say,
Yes.
and you're in the middle of that, and someone comes into you and you feel maybe they've just had an argument with their husband,
Right.
and you sense that,
Yeah.
your junk can throw it out to them and you'll repeat your story. So
Right.
there's very much a process of not letting that happen, and that's learned behavior.
Right. Good.
It's very much learned behavior.
You have a cruise coming up next week. Can you tell me about the cruise?
We have
Yeah.
3
We have
cruises
3
coming
cruises.
up.
We contracted with the Colonial Bell out of Fairport, and we're going to be doing what we call a gallery demonstration event, where we'll be offering readings to randomly selected people in the boat. But everybody on the boat will have a good time because we're engaging everybody, so it should
Yeah,
be fun.
we have some little surprises
Yeah.
that we're going to be, everyone will get some sort of message.
Yeah.
So we stand in front of the group. We have a number system, basically, that's randomly drawn. Numbers will be randomly
okay.
drawn.
Good.
They're picked, and then we read for them. We're hoping to we've got 80 people in attendance, so we're hoping to get in as many readings as we possibly
Nice,
can.
that'll be
So we
exciting.
have about 3 hours
Yeah.
in which
Alright.
to do that.
We'll be
Are
back.
So we
there
booked
any
that
seats
one.
left on any of the cruises?
Our third,
The
The 28th.
August 30th is full, the October 12th is full, but
Okay.
September 28th is a Friday. We have some seats remaining.
Oh, nice.
So it's
Yeah.
on the
All
website.
right.
yes, it is. I think it's about half full
Get
now.
your tickets.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And how would somebody find you? Where are you located?
On the web, it's purpledoorsoulsource.com.
Okay.
But we're physically here at the Win-Jef Plaza on Whitten Road South in Henrietta.
Nice. And what's the telephone number for them to reach you?
585-427-8110.
And do you have Instagram or you're on Facebook?
We are on
right?
Facebook.
Okay.
Very
Yes,
busy on Facebook.
Busy on Facebook, very
Okay.
active. Yes.
Nice. Thank you so much. This has been very informative. And
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you,
great.
Karen.
Thank you.